being applauded because gay itself is abhorrent, not just to African culture. When we say African culture, it is not just to African culture, but to humanity, to nature. It is abhorrent. But that does not mean that we are condemning anybody. It is only God that judges. We do not condemn. What we need is empathy. And what that empathy should lead us to is to find corrective measures to help these people. Until the middle 1980s, psychology textbooks from the West that is propagating all this now, classified this under a defiant behavior, abnormality. It used to be categorized with things like it's a disorder, kleptomania, and all the rest. How come all of a sudden it is removed from that? And we are not just trying to launch it, but to accept it as part of our law. So our struggle should also go into the effort we make to decode all the other treaties and conventions that we are part of, and see how we stand to uphold our cultural integrity, how we have to preserve the essence of human nature, the essence of our being. And like I said in the beginning, how does this affect young people? You see, today, Jonathan has done it. The National Assembly has done it. I want every one of us, especially parents here, to ask ourselves, if it's presented before my 16-year-old, my 18-year-old, the 23-year-old, in the next 10 years, what will the person sign? Will the person feel the way you are feeling today, that it is abhorrent? Or will the person feel any different? I want us to answer that question, and that will indicate what we are going to do in the future. The content of the curriculum, where some of these things have been redefined. Some years back, the Project for Human Development waged serious battle. Why? Because all of a sudden, in some textbooks, marriage has been redefined as a union between two people. Last year, FAC came together to give a press conference on National Health Bill. What are the trickles? It's not just what we see in black and white today, but what does the future hold for us, for our children in these areas? What are the young people exposed to? What does it do to their mind? What does it do to their mindset? What does it do to the way they think? So when we are done with the bill today, what will the young people tell us? What do we do to make sure that they say the same thing we are saying today? A lot has to be done in the families. Parents have to start a conversation, if they've not started, with the young people on the essence of life, sanctity of life. What does it mean to be a human being? What are the areas of human development that we have to work hard on? We have to have constant conversation. It is only through this conversation that the young person's mindset can be changed to achieve the result that is desirable. Not just desirable because we are Nigerians, but because we are human beings. What do we want to feed their thought process with? How do we do that? We can't just sit there and complain, lament. What goes on behind us? Can a young person sit down and appreciate this bill the way you do? If they don't, then there's a lot of work that we need to do. When a parent is talking to a child, I work with young people. One of them 2 years ago, when this thing started, 2011, said to me, Mrs. Hawagu, you see, there's something you adults need to understand. It is not about whether it is morally right or wrong. It is about fundamental human rights. Please, Mr. Hawagu, don't misunderstand me. I'm never going to be queer. I interjected, what do you mean by queer? I'm never going to go that way because I'm properly brought up. But what I want adults to appreciate is that these people need to express their sexuality the way they want. I was shocked, but I did not express it. And since that day, I've given a lot of thought to this issue. And that is what is important for every one of us. If my 16-year-old can tell me that we need to observe fundamental human rights, when that 16-year-old gets to the position of our president, Jonathan, what will that 16-year-old sign? What will inform the decision of the National Assembly in future? That is what we have to work hard against right now. We have to work in that direction, starting from all stakeholders and educators of young people, the family, the school, the church. It is not a sermon. When you preach sermon to young people today, all they can do by way of respect is to keep quiet when you talk. Whatever you're saying does not go in. The best way to reach young people today, one, conversation. First of all, they need to understand that you understand them. They need to know that you really understand the way they feel, that you're not just imposing anything on them or pushing them towards a particular direction. So what do we do? Parents, in your conversation. The churches, you can also start conversation through different organizations within the church. Then the school, you have a whole lot of job to do. What does the government do? We have to work hard in integrating those things in our school curriculum, because that is what had happened abroad. Even the West that is shouting that Nigeria hadn't done very well, the bill had not been passed in many states in America. There are some schools are like not projecting even what the states have passed. What do we do in our own schools? What do we teach the children? It is not about criticism. It's not about saying it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be. It is about bringing them up gradually as they are formed, as they develop. It is imbibed in their thoughts, in their thinking faculty, like we casually say. If it is not imbibed as such, if you pass it as information, it cannot go down. But when it is part of their formation, from the time they go to school, 2 years, they hear what it means to be a human being, the dignity of the human person, the sanctity of life. We have to make sure that this it is somehow introduced in every facet of their life, so that at the end of the day, it becomes their decision, not your own decision. They buy into it because logically they are convinced, not because they think they want to beat another person's time, or they want to do it for the sake of the parents or whatever. Let the children be personally convinced that this is against the law of nature. It is against the essence of being a human being. This is fundamental. In summary, the school curriculum, parents, the conversations, the virtues that we teach at home. We shouldn't be so particular about the academic excellence, the grades the children get in school. We should also make sure that they learn how to live as human beings. They learn what it means to respect life. They learn what the dignity of the human dignity of the human being, the total essence, the total package, not just a part of it. The media